NASCAR history has an abundance of moments that you can just see changing the course of a season or even a career. 2015's chase race at Kansas is one of those races. Overall, the season was lackluster. It was honestly just boring, I'll say that. And after a thrilling 2014, the racing took a few steps backwards in the eyes of many fans. Yet, heading into Kansas, intrigue was big after six-time champion Jimmie Johnson was eliminated from the chase 2 weeks before, and favorites like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth had fallen behind early. Only Joey Logano would feel safe as the field went green in Kansas.
As the field, 43 strong, 2x2, come to the green flag. We're underway, racing in Kansas.
Bad Brad would lead early, while behind him, the best driver all season in Kevin Harvick was charging up despite having a bad vibration, taking the lead 28 laps in, right as JJ Yeley would slow the race for the first time. Harvick was able to retain the lead after a fight with MTJ, but the two to watch were actually the two yellow cars behind them of Joey Logano and Matt Kenseth. Both made their way up to second and third by lap 50.
He has the momentum as they come out of turn number 4. It looks as though Harvick's going to give him the high line. Logano will take the lead away from Harvick.
Much like the first run, the slick racetrack denied a long run through the day, as now Tony Stewart spun off turn 2, bringing out caution number 2. And again, tire strategy kept the field shuffled up, with Carl Edwards now leading the way, though it wasn't long-lasting thanks to his teammate. Kenseth, being deep in the hole, needed this kind of run and a victory as he was driving for his life in this race. Also, another random moment, what's going on in the parking lot right now?
That something has happened within the track, but there's a bus that actually caught fire outside of the racetrack, and the smoke has not caused an issue for the competition yet, but just wanted to let you know that if you see the smoke in the background, that's actually a bus that's outside of the racetrack.
I hope everyone's okay.
So while the bus burned, Kenseth checked out, with only Logano keeping any pace behind him. The big storm brewing was with Kyle Larson now, whose mid-pack run was at least done with some flair. A run that would get worse and worse as the day went on, especially in where else but turn 2. Kenseth's advantage again became sizable out front, just keeping the gap over whoever else, though, would be second, Johnson or Logano. Though the threat of green flag pit stops was again thwarted, this time by Austin Dillon with a right front flat in turn 2. And again, rinse, wash, repeat, Matt Kenseth restarted as the leader and ran out. This time, though, Joey Logano would follow him to second and would be improving as the day went on. Chase-wise, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the only one really having a bad day with a loose wheel, an issue he'd had all year that would trap him a lap down for the remainder of the day and basically help end his season. Of course, though, turn 2 would strike once more.
And I went in and he kind of took my line away, and I tried to pull down, and as soon as my headlight got out and got some air in it, boy, it bit and turned me. And I probably should have just spun to the inside, but I thought I could save it. And guess what? I did not save it.
Didn't save it, was
hard.
But it's great to see you able to walk out under your own power. That was a hit that took our breath away.
Side by side. Joey Logano on the inside, Kenseth on the outside.
Harvick's going to run up behind Kenseth. No, he chose the 22. He chose to push the 22. Push the 22 right past the 20.
Will he be able to hold on to the lead? Logano trying to go back-to-back with wins. Logano out in front of Matt Kenseth.
Is that Kevin Harvick trying to push the 20 of the 22 of Logano versus helping someone that could win the race in advance?
For the first time all day, Matt Kenseth was legitimately challenged for the lead. But he still had the best car out there and was able to put the 22 behind him. And all Matt really had to do now was just run the laps out and hope for a caution not to come back out after his pit stop. And he'd see it all go away right outside his windshield. Jimmy Johnson would be a sitting duck out front on the ensuing restart. Kenseth and Logano with fresh tires were able to swallow him up. Unlike most restarts though, the 20 didn't run away this time. Logano had the top hooked up, and Kenseth's car was not as good as it was before. Lap after lap, Kenseth would play defense as Logano would dog him in his mirror. Kenseth trying to take his line away, an aero block, Logano just trying to find that right opening. Coming to 5 to go, the leaders finally met on their collision course.
He really lost his entire race car and able to 22 to catch him.
Here comes the 22. He's closed the gap all over the back bumper now as they've caught the slower traffic. And around goes the 20, sideways in front of the 22. Kenseth slides, caution comes out.
The 22's coming up. He comes up to block him, a big block onto the 22, and the 22 drives in, catches him in the left rear quarter panel, spins the 20 out. Matt Kenseth with a great save to stay off the wall, but the damage to the points and the ultimate win has been done. The 20 will have to come get tires. His chance to win today is over.
While Joey went on to win his second in a row, the real story was the way that Joey won. Kenseth left 41 points out of the cut line. Even if he finished second, the gap would have been 28 out. This was, in every sense of the word, a must-win, taken away by what many saw as a dirty move. And with Logano winning the next week at Talladega and Kenseth crashing in a controversial finish, his championship hunt was over, not only for this year, but generally for the rest of his career. Insult to injury was that the 20 was junked at Martinsville, in large part due to a Penske shenanigan that Joey Logano benefited from on a restart. And it's at this time Matt Kenseth's words at Kansas would become more and more relevant.
You know, he just lifted my tires off the ground and wrecked me.
What will you talk to Joey about in regards to this incident?
Oh, I won't talk to Joey. I don't have anything to talk to him about, really. So, I mean, you make decisions every day. You make decisions every minute behind the wheel. To me, strategically, that doesn't seem like such a great decision for him. But it's the one he made, and that's how he wanted to win. So I'm one of the only guys I think that haven't been into it yet with Joey. And I've always raced him with a ton of respect. I've actually been one of his biggest fans. Certainly not anymore, but I always was. So.
At this point, though, they were at too far of an impasse. But both drivers had at least some cases for their actions. Joey Logano saw it as hard racing, a strategy to keep a top competitor out of the championship hunt. His aggression had ruffled the old guard's feathers at this point, and he'd done it before and probably thought if he could handle someone like Tony Stewart, he could handle someone as even-keeled as Matt Kenseth. Kenseth saw this as a disrespectful youth, taking it too far once again. He'd snapped last year at Brad Keselowski and refused to be pushed around. And with Brian France defending Joey's move as, quote, quintessential NASCAR, it's hard not to see why Matt Kenseth would snap again.
And Kenseth cleared by Logano. Maybe no! Kenseth takes him out! Logano into the wall! Caution comes out and the crowd roars.
Matt Kenseth would get sweet, sweet revenge and a 2-race suspension. Winning 3 more times before his 2020 retirement for good, his career would slowly fade away. As for Joey, he would not make the 2015 Final Four and compete for his first title, even though at that point he might have become the championship favorite. But since then, he's won 24 more times in the Cup Series to the present day and is a 2-time Cup champion, with his Cups coming in 2018 and 2022. But on this day, both would collide together in one of the most fiery rivalries in the last 2 decades,